Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone in today's class for the first intermediate grade. Our textbook is Super Goal 2 and today we will have enrichment number 4. It will be presented by me, teacher Mazana Harbi, and the sign language by Mr. Salih Al-Ajan. So let's begin. The first thing we will cover today is Unit 7, Then and Now, which you can find it on pages from 55 until 63. On this unit, we have talked about the past and the present by reading the text about then and now. And in this text, we compare between two cities, Riyadh and Jeddah, what was Riyadh like and how it is now. So we read about how many population used to have back in the past, and also the houses, what it's made of, what it was made of, and also when we read about today and the transformation, the change that Riyadh has. For example, in the past, it used to have a population of about 14,000, but now it has more than 7 million people. So not only this, but also we talk about the kind of material Riyadh used back then to build the houses. For example, back then they used to build houses, mud brick houses, but now we have more building complexes and skyscrapers and so on. Not only about Riyadh, but also about Jeddah. We read about Al-Balad, the old part of Jeddah, which was a group of 3 to 5 story buildings with beautiful wooden balconies. And now it became a traditional place where people usually go there to enjoy the atmosphere there. And in addition to the tall buildings that Jeddah has, and also the beautiful homes and wide range of stores and hotels. And also we read about a celebrity, a well-known celebrity. He is Majid Ahmed Abdullah. And we read about the biography of the player, what he used to be there. He was born in Jeddah, as we have learned, and then he moved to Riyadh. Then we read about his national records, his achievements, both at the club level and the national team level. After this, we went to the quick check question, where we read some of the vocabularies to mark, for example, the information about the buildings, the materials, and the size of each city. We said, for example, Riyadh, its buildings were usually made of mud brick, and also it covers an area of more than 1,500 square kilometers, and it has modern complexes. This is what has been mentioned in the text. And also about Jeddah. The old part of Jeddah was a group of 3 to 5 story buildings, and it became a modern port cities with tall buildings and beautiful homes and wide range of hotels and stores. So we read lots of information about Riyadh and Jeddah in the past and also in the present. And also we did answer question number B, a yes or no questions. We read certain statement and we answer them with yes or no, and also we correct the answers that has a no. And after this, we went straight to the grammar rule. In the grammar rule, we learn about the simple past of verb to be, and we said that the simple past of verb to be, we use was or were. And for example, as you can see here, we use was if we want to talk about a previous condition of someone, and someone who used to be something and not right now. For example, I was famous. In the past, I was famous, but not right now. So we said that we use was with these subject pronouns I, he, she, it, and we use were with these subject pronoun you, we, and they. And we use them whether we are using the affirmative sentences or the negative sentences, or if we want even to make questions. So the same subject pronouns goes with was, and the same goes with whether if you want to make a question or affirmative sentence or even a negative sentence. And also we learn a very important verb, which is to be and born. And we said that to be born, when you say, for example, you want to express where you born, then we use this verb, I was born, and it only used in the past with verb to be, as we can see here. I was born, he was born, or she was born, or they were born, or you were born. And we said that this verb talks about the time or the place of your birth, and also we use it only with the simple past of verb to be, was, and were. And after this, we had a listening lesson about, we listened to a description of the life of Majid Ahmed Abdullah, and we completed this chart with this information. For example, his nickname, the schools that he went to, and also his experience in football before Al-Nasr, and also how many national records does he have, and also the national team, his achievement in the national team. So we had listened to this exercise and we answered, or we fill in this chart. And after this, we went to the conversation. We read the conversation between Neil and Leo when they talk about their classmates and their old classmates, and they trying to remind each other of their old classmates and where are they now and what did they become. For example, when Neil said that Keith Anderson, who is the winner of the school competition, now he is a management consultant. Or when Leo mentioned about Derek Adams, who was recently Neil's boss. So all of them talk about their old classmates and what do they do now. After the conversation, we had, or we discussed the about you question, where we have a couple of questions to discuss, and I ask you to think about these questions, like, for example, were your grades good in elementary school, and what was your favorite subject, and also what was your favorite after-school activity, and who was your favorite teacher, and who was your best friend, and where is he now, and what is he doing. So a lot of these questions to think of your elementary school, about the teachers, the classmates, the subjects that you like. So all of them just to help you remember and also help you to use the simple past of a verb to be. And after this, we went to a reading lesson where we read a biography, which is a written history of a person's life. And this biography was about Yao Ming, who is a Chinese basketball player. And we read in this text how much he struggled to go to the professional level, and we read about his parents and how did they encourage him, and also how he became a celebrity, and now he is a well-known player around the world. And also we did put the events of the biography or his biography in order according to the text that we have read. And also we did answer a couple of questions about him. For example, where was he born, and were his parents short or not, and what was the name of his team in the US, and so on. And after this, we continued to answer a couple of questions. For example, look back at the reading on page 61. Who do the pronouns or the adjectives refer to? So in this exercise, we learned that we do have, sometimes you can see bolded subject pronouns. So I ask you to refer to each one of them and write down what each of these pronouns refer to, and we answer this question as you can see here. And after this, we went to the writing corner where we learned that subject and object pronouns and also possessive adjectives sometimes help you to link sentences in writing. For example, pronouns and adjectives link similar ideas. When we say Yao Ming was born in China, he is very tall and his parents were both tall. So this is the subject pronoun that we use just to not repeat the subject name again. So it's better to use the subject pronoun just to make the sentence simpler. And also pronouns help you sometimes avoid repeating the same words over and over again. So when we say basketball is popular because it is fun, it is a team sport, and it is easy to learn. So this is why it's important, very important, to use the subject pronoun and not to repeat the name every time. As a project, I ask you to choose a famous person, a famous celebrity, and find information about him, create an interview of that person, and be the interviewer for the other one. And you try to present this interview to the class. You will see, or you'll find out that is a very interesting project. And finally, in the last part, what we did is that in the there was and there were, in the form, function, and meaning, we learned that we use there was in singular. We were talking about something that used to happen in the past, and there were about, with the plural, about also the same function. So we have sentences like this: there was an old castle, or there wasn't a shopping mall, or there were many traditional houses, or there weren't any modern skyscrapers. And also we said that in the past we use there was or there were just to talk about past situations, and the use of other verbs in the simple past just to describe completed actions. And there was or wasn't is used with singular nouns and non-count nouns. So there were or there weren't is used usually with the plural nouns, as we have learned. And also we did answer this exercise where I asked you that 10 years ago Lee was a poor student, now he's a successful architect. Just look at the apartments then and now and describe his old apartment. Use phrases like there was, there wasn't, there were, or there weren't. So in the, on the writing page you can see that two pages or two pictures of Lee's apartments back then and Lee's apartments now. And then you can fill in, write some of the sentences about using there was and there wasn't to describe his apartment in two conditions. And also, like this one, take turns to ask and answer questions about Lee's old apartment. So not only writing sentences, but also making questions about these two apartments, as you can see here. After this, we went to Unit 8, What Did You Do Last Week?, which you can find it on pages 64 and 71. So in this unit, if you remember, we did read or listened about 4 different young people. Each one of them talks about what did he do in the past. For example, Amr said that we had a great time on Saturday, and Ahmed talked about his week, how good was it. He presented the project in class. Said said on Thursday I went to the art museum. Imad said I stayed home, studied for my science project. So all of them talks about what did they do in the past. And as a pair work, here we have talked about or making questions about those teens. Yes or no questions. For example, did Said go to school on Thursday afternoon? Did Ahmad stay home on Saturday? So we made a yes or no question about these 2 teens, these 4 teens, and also to ask and answer about yourself. So asking about what did you do in the past. For example, did you have a test yesterday? What did you do yesterday afternoon? And so on. So we went straight to in the grammar as our grammar in this unit, and we talk about the simple past tense of all verbs, not only with verb to be. So as you can see here, we said that the simple past tense of all verbs, we usually only add ed to the verb, and it immediately indicates the past tense. So no matter what the subject pronoun is, as you can see here, we only add ed to the verb, and we can use it to talk about a sentence in the past. So I worked yesterday. I didn't work yesterday, as you can see here. And also, if we want to make question, we always use did, whether if we want to make questions or we want to put the sentence in a negative form. So we use did with all the subjects. As you can see, all the subject pronouns like did I, did she, did we work yesterday. And also the answer will we use the did in affirmative sentence and even in a negative one. And also we said that we stressed that sometimes with the regular past form of verb, we only add ed. As you can see here, work, this is the base verb, we added to it ed, it became worked. This is in the past. And also some verbs that ends with d, we only add, ends with e, we only add d, like live, we added to it d and it became lived. And for verbs that ends with consonant plus y, we use ied as study. We change the y and we put to replace it with ied. So I also encourage you to go to page 83 to look for irregular past tense verbs. So for example, not all verbs that we can add to it ed. We said that some of the verbs are irregular, and it means that they have their own form of the past tense. As you can see here, buy, the past form of it is bought. Have, the past form is had. Drive, the past form is drove. Read, the past form is read. And eat, the past form of it is ate, and so on. So I encouraged you to go to page 83 to look for more of these irregular verbs. And also, we said that time expressions sometimes help when you use or when you talk about something happens in the past. For example, yesterday, last night, last week, last month. For example, what did you do last night? I went out. So after this, we talk about another exercise. It was very cold last weekend and there was snow. Which activities do you think Steve did? Which activities didn't he do? Use the list of things and add it to your own idea. So that was a very interesting exercise where we just wrote down the things that did do Steve do out of these activities. And also the other activity we did, which is when I asked you to work with a partner to ask and answer about what people did. So we had pictures like this with the subject pronoun, which is you, and on vacation. So what you need to do is just to make questions about, for example, what did you do on your vacation? So just to help you to describe the past activities that you did. After this, we had a listening lesson where we listened to a conversation between two friends. And we did answer the question. Friends about friends with kin that talk about the things or the activities that they did in the past. And after this, we have a pronunciation lesson of the past tense ending, the past tense endings, and we said that some of them ends with t, like for example, liked, worked, washed, and some of them ends with d, like played, studied, cleaned, and some of them with ed, like for example, wanted, needed, or visited. So we stressed that some of the past form verbs that ends with ed pronounced differently, as we can see here. And after this, we went to the conversation. We read or listened to a conversation between Sam and Amr. And in this conversation, they talk about Sam talk about what happens with his friend when he invited him to an Indian restaurant, and what the problem that they face at that restaurant. After this, I ask you that to talk about your activities and ask or make an interview with your classmates or maybe family member about these activities. Did you get up late on Saturday? Did you or did you play football on Sunday? And so on. So you can make certain questions or several questions with the people around you. After this, we had about you questions were just to test your memory. And we said, for example, we had a question like, did you drink water with your dinner last night? And what did you eat for breakfast yesterday? So this question just help you to test your memory, whether you remember what did you do in the previous days. And then we had the reading lesson about favorite foods around the world, and where we read the history of cookies and pizza around the world, and even we answered a couple of questions about this text. And also we had the discussion question, whether it's important to know the different ethnic cuisines around the world, and whether you agree with this or if you don't agree, and you present what do you think. After this, we went straight to the writing lesson, where I ask you to work in small group, talk about your favorite foods, and find a dish and discuss it with the group, discuss the ingredients and how to make that dish. So we said that it's very important that we use the sequence words just to show the order the things happen. For example, first, next, then, after that, and then finally. And we gave an example, a very simple example on how can you talk about your favorite food but using the sequence words. And also not only the sequence words, but even the time words such as when and until. And we said that they help sometimes to describe the time and indicates the time in the past. After this, we had a very interesting exercise where I ask you to read the recipe of the pancakes and then use in these instructions or the directions the sequence or the time words. And we answer it like you can see here. And after this, with exercise C, I ask you to write a recipe of your own favorite food. And we gave an example of an egg sandwich. And this is the recipe of an egg sandwich, and also using the sequence and also the time words. As a project, I ask you to prepare a presentation on a regional dish in your country. Just talks about what do you like about that regional dish, and also what made it popular. And after this, in the form, function, and meaning, we talk about the differences between simple present and simple past. We said that we use the simple present to talk about permanent actions like habits and routines, and help sometimes to use the adverbs of frequency when we talk about the permanent actions like always, usually, often, and rarely. So for example, Ali phones his family every day. This is an example of the simple present. As an example of simple past, we said that we use the simple past just to talk about actions that were completed in the past. And we use time expressions like yesterday, last night, and 2 years ago. For example, Ali phoned his family yesterday. So this was the difference between the simple present and the simple past as well. And we had many exercises. One of them is this exercise where I ask you to match the phrases just to make sentences, and you use each phrase on the right only once. So here we had phrases and we completed it. We match it with the other phrases on the right side just to have a full sentences. So we had similar exercises like this. So now we reach the end of our lesson. Thank you very much for watching.